Hey there folks, Joshua Bardwell here. Real quick video for today. No head camera, just my hands and my radio. TBS Crossfire has implemented a feature that I asked for a long time ago. I'm not saying they did it just for me, but I did ask for it and they did it, and I just now noticed, and you're going to think it's really cool, I think. Listen. You hear that sound? That's the sound of my Crossfire module being at max power. And the fact that it makes my speaker buzz is a whole separate issue. The point is that you want your Crossfire module to be at max power, but you don't want your Crossfire module to be at max power when you're not flying, because it's just wasting your battery. Your controller battery is just getting sucked down, blasting 1 watt of power to nothing because your quad isn't even plugged in, right? Well, here's what they've done to fix that. I am going to go into TBS Agent Lite, and I'm going to go into my Crossfire Micro TX configuration, and I'm going to go into the RF power section, and we've got dynamic power on. And what that means is that when the quad is plugged in and close by, we will be at a low output power. But when the quad is powered down, the radio just goes to max power because it's like, I don't know where the quad is, let's find it. And that's super annoying. They've added the ability to turn the power up and down with a switch. That's awesome. And the way you're going to do this is you're going to pick one of your control channels. Now, here's the cool thing. Even if you run your Crossfire in 8-channel mode, which most people do because that's the default and they just get by, you can still choose channels 9, 10, 11, and 12, which are basically just throwaway channels that you're probably not using. Regardless, pick one of your control channels, and then what you're going to do is you're going to go into your mixer screen. So I'm going to press the model setup button, and I'm going to go page over to mixes, and I'm going to go down, and I'm just going to choose to use channel 10. And all you have to do is edit and source, and then just flip one of your switches and it will fill in that switch, and you could use that switch. So I could just flip switch SC, and now SC is going to be my Crossfire output power switch. You have 3 positions, and you choose which of those positions you want to control your output power. But what I like to do is I'm going to put it on my arming switch. And so I'm just going to click source, and I'm going to flip my arm switch there. Hey there folks, Joshua from the future here. Just to clarify, the reason that I'm putting this on channel 10 is that I don't use a simple 3-position switch for my arm switch. I have a more complicated setup where I do all of my aux modes on one channel. So the difference for me between arm and disarm is not just middle position versus high position versus low position. As a result, I've just set up a simple 2-position mix on channel 10, and I'm using that to control my Crossfire power while using the same switch to drive a mix on channel 5 that's actually my aux modes. If you have a simple 2-position or 3-position arm switch, you can just use that exact same switch to control your Crossfire output power. You do not need to set up a separate channel in that case. There, and then I'm going to go back into the TBS Agent Lite Lua script. That was channel 10 that I chose to use. I'm going to go into RF power. I'm going to choose channel 10 as my power switch. And then what I'm going to say is that when the switch is, it's a 2-position switch, so mid position doesn't really mean anything, but I'm going to say that when the switch is up, we're going to be at 25 milliwatts, and when the switch is down, we're going to be at full power. And I actually set it to 500 milliwatts because I feel like 1 watt is more than I need in most situations, but hey, I could just change that if I felt like I wanted to. What that's going to mean is that when I arm, it's not working. Why is it not working? What have I done wrong? It was working. Channel 6, channel 10 is SC. I didn't. Here we go. Channel. There we go. SF. That's what that switch should be. And what that's going to mean is that when I disarm, we're at 25 milliwatts, and then when I arm, we go up to a max of 500 milliwatts, because remember, dynamic power is still working. That's just our max of 500 milliwatts if it thinks that we need it. That's pretty cool. I may as well set that to 1 watt then, huh? Right? Oh yeah, it's dynamic. Dynamic power still works. Of course, it's not a fixed power. Dynamic power is on. Of course, I could turn dynamic power off, and then it would be a fixed power. So here, let's set that to 1 watt. Oh, yeah. And then if my quad was powered on, which is we would just be at 25 milliwatts as long as it was close, and then as it gets further away, the power would ramp up. That's really freaking cool. And it means that every time I turn my dang radio on here while I'm working on the bench, it's not going to be going, bah, where's the quad? Thank you, TBS. This is a really, really great feature. And I'm super happy that you implemented it. Happy flying, everybody.
What are you doing in here? The least you could do is subscribe or join my Patreon or, like, just here's another video I picked out for you. Jeez.